All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining. My name's Dave Brown. I'm the CEO of Valley Leadership, and we're very excited to have you on to learn more about post-secondary access and how Arizona gets more of its students filling out the FAFSA and preparation for going to some post-secondary opportunities. So we're going to run pretty quick through some slides, and then we'll hear directly from some companies who have instituted their own FAFSA preparation and FAFSA promotion activities at their own companies. And the goal is to get as many companies as possible doing the same. So we're very appreciative of the companies who have joined us today to talk through a little bit about what they're doing, and hopefully it can inspire or educate others on the call to do something similar with their own companies. We just developed a very cool playbook that I think is pretty informative and lots of ideas of how your company can get started doing something in the FAFSA space. So appreciate Duncan Family Farms, Bank of America, and the Phoenix Suns for helping us out and telling your stories. So this is an effort of the Impact Maker. For those of you that know Valley Leadership, we're a leadership organization that's been around 40 plus years. In the last couple of years, we wanted to tap our leadership network. After 40 years, we have a great set of enthusiastic individuals from across the state, all looking to do things. And we figured, how can we better match that and connect dots? So we call it the Impact Maker, a very intentional constellation of dot connecting to do things that we think will have immediate impact on Arizona's most pressing issues, but also lead to some systemic change. And the FAFSA and the work of our education team is definitely that. So overall, our education impact team, we want to have every child in Arizona get an excellent education every step of the way. A big part of that is to get to a 60% post-secondary attainment. Really, that's the kind of North Star high bar of if we can hit that, everything that comes before it, we've done pretty well. So one of the ways we're doing that is to make sure kids get to college. So the FAFSA filing is super important. Arizona, and you'll hear this a little more from Carla Robles and others, Arizona leaves a lot of money on the table when it comes to federal aid for college, for two-year community college, or other post-secondary access opportunities. And we need to change that. And one of the ways we think we can change that is through the business community and getting more companies involved with how they can get their own employees, their employees' families, and others to fill out the FAFSA. So I'm going to hand this over to Carla and Lorenzo, who can talk a little bit more about it as far as this particular to-do item when it comes to getting more kids into college, and that we want to have 70%. So a high bar, high North Star that we want to get to. And we're appreciative of everybody coming to learn about how they can play a role in that. Carla?
Yes. Lorenzo, do you want to say anything while I set up our screen, our presentation here?
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
You can let me share, Dave. That would be great.
Yep.
There we go.
Hi, everyone. Good morning again. Thank you all for jumping on this morning. So I am part of the team that's helping to move this work forward. Really, the issue that we are trying to really tackle is here in the state of Arizona, over 50% of our students who graduate from high school don't go on to do any type of post-secondary work. And so I see a couple of folks who were on our Impact Maker presentation yesterday, so they probably heard me state that statistic as well. That's definitely something that keeps me up at night in terms of our ability to provide a ready and able workforce and really to connect our students that are graduating with some type of post-secondary plan. And so one of the ways that we're doing that in conjunction with a lot of different community organizations who are really kind of at the forefront of this work and leading this work in terms of FAFSA completion is to raise some awareness and some, I would say, the profile of the importance of the FAFSA And I'm sure that Carla will share a little bit more about the statistics around those who complete the FAFSA and the rates in which they go on to post-secondary. But this is really, really important work. It's almost essentially a slam dunk, right? Of ways that we can get more of our students engaged post high school into either career pathways or within post-secondary. So with that, again, thank you all for being here today. And, I'll hand it off to Carla.
Thanks, Lorenzo. Hello, everybody. Carla Robles with the Be a Leader Foundation and also a member of the post-secondary impact team. And I'll kick us off today. Our conversation is a really important conversation and really just highlighting some three quick key questions is, what is the FAFSA? Why is it a priority? And why do we need more people, especially the business community, involved in promoting it and helping us increase this critical indicator? So in terms of what is the FAFSA, if you can think back to your own college days, or even if you've had the great privilege of helping a high school senior or a current college student with the application, that it's the free application for federal student aid. And let me go back here. Nationwide, FAFSA provides over 13 million students with nearly $120 billion for aid annually. And this includes free grant money like the Pell Grant, work study, and loans to pay for college or career education. And Arizona's post-secondary institutions use the FAFSA data to determine which students get financial aid and how much they will get. Arizona currently ranks 49th in the number of high school seniors who complete the FAFSA each year. An alarming statistic, given that completing the FAFSA is one of the very strongest indicators that a student will pursue higher education post-high school. And this past year alone, 54% of Arizona high school seniors did not complete a FAFSA, leaving over $55 million in Pell Grant money on the table. That's just free money. That's not even like work study or any of the loans, $55 million. We know that strategies focused on increasing FAFSA completion rates have a tremendous potential to increase post-secondary enrollment. Prior research by the National Center for Education Statistics has shown that roughly 90% of high school students who complete the FAFSA attend college directly after high school, compared to only 55% of students who do not complete the FAFSA. And while there's great implications for students and families, there's also a great business case to be made in terms of why we need to increase not only FAFSA completion, but overall post-secondary enrollment numbers. Currently in Arizona, only 40% of our population holds an associate's degree or higher. And for the Hispanic community, our fastest growing demographic, this proportion is even lower at 22%. Yet according to studies by organizations like Georgetown's Public Policy Institute, it is estimated that currently over 68% of our jobs here in Arizona require some form of training post-high school. As a state, we have made great, bold moves to increase this important indicator and are starting to really pay attention to FAFSA completion as one of our biggest levers in terms of post-secondary enrollment. And one of these has been creating the Arizona FAFSA Challenge as a state. It's a statewide initiative to increase FAFSA completion among Arizona's high school seniors. And the goal of the challenge is to increase FAFSA completion rates each school year to ultimately achieve a target of 78% completion by the year 2030. Last year, only 46% of our high school seniors completed the FAFSA. And so far this school year, only 29% of our high school seniors have completed this critical application. So we have a ways to go. It's not often that we have, I think Lorenzo talked about it at the beginning, an indicator that we have easily accessible data for that definitely has a strong correlation to a widely important outcome like post-secondary enrollment. In a recent report, College Success Arizona found that every additional bachelor's degree adds more than $660,000 to the state's economy over an individual's lifetime. And in terms of today's work, I hope the past few slides have really underscored the importance of this conversation we're about to have. Data Leadership's post-secondary education team has joined efforts to also help increase FAFSA completion, and we've created the Increasing FAFSA Completion in Arizona, a business playbook, as a resource to educate corporate and community leaders about the importance of FAFSA completion. and specifically provide them with strategies and planning tools to execute on 4 critical strategies that are highlighted in the playbook, for not only them to help build awareness, but also engage their own families and their children in the completion of this critical indicator. At the conclusion, we'll share about how we're gonna send you all a copy of the playbook if you don't already have it. But Dave, or I think maybe Marley, will now introduce our business partner speakers who will highlight how they as organizations are already committed to supporting post-secondary access. Thank you.
Go ahead, Marley.
Okay. My name is Marley Movies. I am Valley Leadership Class of 41 and excited to be part of the Impact Maker team. I'm grateful today to have some of our corporate business partners share their success stories in terms of their participation in FAFSA, in terms of either engaging their employees and involving them in volunteering or creating initiatives internally to really promote and move the needle, as Carla talked about, moving to 78% FAFSA completion by 2030. So we've got 3 people that we're going to hear from. And the first one I'd like to introduce is Tina Huff, who's the Chief People Officer at Duncan Family Farms. Excited to have Tina on deck as one of our keynote speakers. As well, we have Margarita Cortez, who is the Manager of Operations and Programs at Phoenix Suns Charities and Social Responsibility. And Maria, I apologize. I may not pronounce your last name properly. So I'm going to, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself when the time comes. But Tina, I believe you're up first. So I'm going to throw it over to you.
Very good. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Sorry about that. There we go. All right. Well, I'm really thrilled to be able to share with you the program that we have at Duncan Family Farms. Duncan Family Farms is a local, large grower of organic greens. We sell mixed greens as a raw material to all the major salad providers throughout the country. So if you buy an organic mixed green salad from Dole or Organic Girl or Braga Fresh or any of the other major providers, 50% of the time you're likely to have some of our greens, either kale or spinach or arugula or mixed greens in that salad. We've been in the Valley for many years. Some of you may remember the Big Baby and along the I-10, and we recently put that up again along the 303. We've been focused on helping educate kids about farming and growing fresh and great greens for many years. Eventually, the company grew and expanded and had to change its focus to large-scale growing. And however, that desire for focusing on education was always present. I have a picture of our founders, Arnett and Kathleen Duncan, here on this slide. Kathleen has a master's degree in child psychology, and Arnett has a degree in agronomics, and together they have a real passion for kids. Initially, they started helping high schoolers that were friends of their own kids in the West Valley complete their FAFSA and get ready for college. They eventually saw that this would be a wonderful program to offer to all of our employees, our team members, children, and in the company. And so we created a program, the DFF Youth Program, that offers a variety of resources to the youth, the kids of our employees, and it has been wonderful. Some of the resources that are offered include a career assessment, one-on-one academic coaching to make sure that they're ready to meet their goals when they reach college, that they're able to take advantage of scholarship and service opportunities throughout their high school years. We have civic and financial literacy lessons that we offer. And a key component to all of this is helping them fill out their FAFSA as a foundation, and then find scholarships that can help them achieve their goals. I'll talk a little bit about what has been achieved as far as scholarship dollars. This one-on-one coaching has been instrumental in helping each one of this kids that have participate achieve some amazing opportunities and goals in their lives. And I always tell our HR team, every time that we find one more student to participate, we're changing the trajectory of an entire life and family. And just seeing the financial impact in the earlier slides reinforces how important this program is. This last year, we had 6 students graduate from high school, and in the midst of COVID, they all graduated successfully. I know a big part of that was our coach and mentor working with them, Esme, and I've invited her to share a little bit about some of the stories that we've had, and one in particular that I think highlights the importance of the FAFSA. One of these students is attending ASU this year now, is interning with us on a paid internship in our IT department, and is a true scholar, was highlighted one of the top scholars in her school. And so it's just very exciting to be a part of their lives and see each one of these lives impacted by the DFF Youth Program. Out of this program, 100% of all the kids that have participated have earned a high school diploma. And out of these participants, 41% went on to enroll in college, and 24% are fulfilling a career path. We have some that have gone into active duty. And so really exciting to see the response. And that FAFSA completion has paved the way for them to be able to achieve these goals. I'm going to invite Esme to share a little bit about the story of one student that has participated, and also talk about some of the successes that we've had. So Esme, do you want to unmute and go ahead and share with us?
Yes, hi, thank you, Tina, and thank you, Valley Leadership, for the opportunity here to share the, what we've done. And yeah, I have a quick story for you. I have a student that graduated from high school 2 years ago, but she went through the ACE program through the Maricopa County Community Colleges. And what that is they have a partnership with the community college, and while they're in high school, they can actually complete college credits. So while she completed her high school diploma, she also completed her associates. So once she completed that, she went to NAU, she applied, we helped her with the FAFSA. And one of the things that I feel that many of the families don't understand is that not only does the FAFSA application filter and allows the institution to see how much award money or grant money, Pell Grant money is available to the student, but also the institution allows them to see and identify students that are eligible for some of their scholarships as well. So the student not only came in as a sophomore in college and also received a Pell Grant, but also was identified as a lumberjack scholar for her academics. So not only did she have her tuition covered, but she also has her room and board, paid for. So she has full scholarship, everything paid for, and she is the first in the family to go to college directly to a 4-year institution. And not only that, she is one of 8 in her family. So she, like Tina mentioned, not only is does she pave the way for her siblings, she has 2 more siblings that are on the path to hopefully pursue a higher education, but also too for her family and her older siblings to see that this is something that they can do as well. I don't know, Tina, if you want me to touch on the scholarships as well, or if you'd like to take that.
Yes.
Okay. So this has changed a little bit. We have a lot more now, but since in the inception of the program, we have the students have earned over $100,000 in scholarship money, and that includes, not only the money that they've earned through their institutions and private scholarships, but also the money that they earned while in high school. A lot of the students have been accepted into very rigorous programs while in high school, including the ACE program, excuse me, and WestMec. So that tuition is also computed in here as well. Along with those funds, we have also offered gap scholarships, which means that we have offered our students that have shared a need, their need in funding to either have transportation to and from a leadership program, or access to a summer academic program, or anything that has to do with dual enrollment, certification fees. Those that have been completing have been involved in the WestMec program. So that's a vocational program here in town that partners with local high schools. And one of the students that Tina mentioned was Maria, who is currently our intern, completed the programming certification program through WestMec. So she also needed the tuition to offset that cost. And she also needed, I believe, computer, and we were able to fund that as well. So all in all, they've earned over $100,000 to date.
And all of that, the foundation for starting, the starting point for scholarships is typically the FAFSA completion. And so it really does make a huge difference to have a partner that you can work with to ensure that those scholarships and that career path is achieved. I think in summary, as an organization, one of the key aspects for us in this program has been to, we partner with Esme, we contract with her to be able to do this coaching with our students, and simply to provide the information and to do it on a one-on-one basis. If we just sent this information out to our employees once a year or at benefits time, et cetera, it would skim the surface and maybe touch a few people, but it's reaching out to those individuals that might have students and letting them know that this is something they can take advantage of as well. It's that personal one-on-one that our team does with our employees that helps connect their students to the program. And so we found that to be very successful. And this is a program that really doesn't cost a huge amount of money, but has such an impact in both employees and their families' lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tina, very much. And before I hand it over to Maggie from the Phoenix Suns, I want to make sure that people can ask questions at any point in time throughout the presentation. Make it as collaborative as possible and as engaging as possible. I did have one question that I actually, a client of mine had actually asked, and it sounds like Duncan Family Farms has been doing this for about 4 years, correct, Tina?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
And what was the one thing that you would suggest or recommend? If they can't do it all, you've done so much in 4 years. It's amazing what you've done. But if they were going to pick one thing to do for their first year to kick things off and participate, is there something you might suggest?
Well, I do recommend one thing that's very important to us is a once a year highlight time where they can learn about the program. And then the one-on-one coaching that Esme does with the students is probably the most valuable thing that they receive. For so many, they just don't know where to start. They don't know what is going to be possible for them. And so setting up someone that employees or kids can reach out to that can coach them through just making this first step and walking them through the process, answering any questions, I think is critical.
Thanks very much, Tina. That's helpful, very helpful. All right. Are there any other questions out from the group or participants that you'd like to ask Tina before I hand it over to Maggie? No more? Okay. All right. Maggie, I am going to, you're up.
Thank you, everyone. for having me. Yes, I will share that slide in a little bit. I just wanted to share a little bit about what, who we are, Phoenix Suns Charities. Of course, we're the philanthropic arm of the Suns, and so we've been around since 1988, and our mission is to benefit organizations that assist the needs of children and families in Arizona. And of course, we do that with the generosity of our fans and our sponsors, and also the underwriting by our team. And we've seen a steady growth, distributing funds and through grants, and supported, more than 100 organizations annually, and through these funds. And we mainly do we have a grant application and scholarship applications and all those sorts of things, but our pillars they're always constantly changing, because we're trying to refine the heart and the mission and the soul of the charity, and to make a larger impact. But it's always, number one, education and healthcare, but there's also sports and recreation. And we've changed them a little bit here and there, but education became more, our education pillar became more of education and career development, because we want to definitely support organizations that are going to help kids, post-secondary and that sort of thing, or just organizations that are doing great work, and those different pillars. And one of those programs that we have is our Sun Central tutoring program. And it started 9 years ago, where our Sun's managing partner, Mr. Robert Sarver, wanted to do more in our pillar of education and how we can support the school. And he just drove down Central and stopped by Central High School, and didn't have an appointment, and just wanted to support in some way, had a meeting with the principal, and next thing you know, we're supporting through our tutoring program, and worked before I started. I've been with Suns Charities for going on my 8th season. So this started a year prior to when I got there, but I thought it was amazing, and that we were working with teachers from ASU I teach that would come after school. So it's during and after school tutoring program, and they would help students with math, and and we still do math, English, and that sort of thing. And so of course it progressed over the years, and now we have a Sun Central liaison. But if, is it Marley, if you wouldn't mind putting up my my one-sheeter there for Sun Central, please. Or should I can share my screen too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And so this is this one-sheeter kind of talks about our tutoring program, but it's basically Sun Central and Phoenix Suns Charities merging, because it was important to us to have this for the kids. So our mission was to get kids to graduate, and how we do that is help support them, during and after schools with anything that they need help with, and mainly it was with math and English and those subjects, and prepare them to do well in school, so then they could graduate. And over the years, we've seen that increase, significantly from 2013 to 2020, and we continue to serve more of the kids. But they get excited because they're, they try to win incentive items when we have incentive days, and get that sort of thing. But for us, the total investment for us is huge. And so we're trying to also, so then every year, not only do we do this, support them through the funding and all of that, but they have a day at Central High School where, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me close my my door. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. So sorry about that.
A question for you. If you're sharing a slide, I wasn't sure if you wanted to share a slide, but if you are, we can't see it yet. So I just want
Oh, how do I do that?
Okay, you're going to go down to the bottom of your screen and hit share screen. Do you see that at the bottom?
Oh, here we go. Sorry about that.
No problem.
You would think after all of these Zoom calls and all of the things
No.
I should be a pro at this. But yes, so this is, there you go. Can you guys see it? Thank you. So this is something that we wanted to do just to show that this is one of our largest programs, because we funded, like I said, for 9 years, and we're trying to get kids to graduate. But then also our second part of it is trying to get kids to college, and how, for the purpose of this webinar and FAFSA, talking about FAFSA, is that we have a group of employees every year that go to Sun Central High School when they have the FAFSA day to fill out applications. And it's huge for us because we have a lot of Sun's employee participation, where you go and it's a day where it's a couple classrooms and they have kids in their computer set up, and we're assigned to students to help them fill out the application right then and there. If we don't know the answer to something, there's somebody there that's well versed about how to fill it out. But it's really huge for us because education is one of our pillars that we want to definitely get these kids to graduate. And it's amazing in that it not only does it build just the great experience for our Sun's employees to see like what impact we're doing through the Sun Central partnership, but also helping the kids fulfill the second part of our mission, is to get kids to college. And so it's pretty much like a half of day, but we've noticed that there's been a 99% participation rate every time, we're there, but there's a lot of other volunteers. And so this is huge in that, you don't necessarily, as your own, company, you don't necessarily have to have a program in place like we do, where it's just full, we're doing the tutoring, and then we're also supporting, Kaplan test prep courses and doing, helping support through all these other things and getting them to graduate and investing in their future. But you can also just, call up the school and, ask if there's something like a day or something like that they could be a part of, and sign up and get your volunteers to get your employees to be a part of this. But now in this day and age, you can't really go in person, but it's probably, you could probably do a lot of the kids, like Carla was saying, and others, is that, the kids need help in some way, and even their parents don't know how to do it. So maybe just inquiring about setting up a one-on-one and helping them through, have a group of employees that are part of it, and they can call them, set up appointments, that sort of thing. But for us, it's like a day that we do it, and we found that it's impactful because of our our program, and we feel that it's important for us to be there and be present. But you can do it in many different ways. But like I said, we do have one of our Esmeralda, which is actually one of our former Sun Central participants, and she shared with us that because she was part of the program, we set her up for success and also helped her with application, and a lot of her classmates as well. So, she felt like she was ready, didn't have to worry about having to pay, for college, when she knew that she had that support through the FAFSA and those funds and that sort of thing. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's not as intense as like the program at Duncan Family, but it's a part of our Sun Central program that makes a huge impact for us, because that's what we're trying to do, is get the kids to graduate and get the kids to college.
Thank you very much, Maggie. And I mean, at the end of the day, what Duncan Family Farms is doing, what Phoenix Sun's doing, every little bit helps. And we really appreciate you sharing your story. And I am going to throw it out to see if anybody has any questions. No questions. Everybody's waiting till the end to ask questions. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Maria. And Maria, please do me a favor and make sure that you pronounce your last name for me, so I will know going forward as well. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Maria Echeveste. For those of you old enough to know how to play, remember playing with Etch-a-Sketch. It's pretty, once you think of that, then it kind of flows. And I appreciate that. But, I think it's just something also we have to be conscious of, is all these youth we have, and the diversity is, I appreciate the way you handle that, Marley, because we do need to be conscious of we just have a beautiful, diverse community here, right? So I want to first thank Valley Leadership. I want to thank the Impact Makers for this program, allowing me to be on. I'm a class 21. So 20 years ago, I was pregnant with our fourth daughter, and I purposely sit in, this is my home office. I am community relations manager with Bank of America, and I sit in our extra spare room that I've accumulated our daughter's things. But I have the background. You could see Sun Devils, ASU, U of A, USC, Georgetown, etc. Those are my daughters who have gone to college. So I've done 4 FAFSAs. I remember the first one in, I think it was fall of 2008, I believe. So it's come a long way. But I say that because programs like Valley Leadership, programs like in our communities and in our employers like Maggie and Tina shared, are so critical to provide that pathway and the empowering the employee to help them do the dreams they can do and help that family stability. So as I share right now, some of the focus we are in at Bank of America, I am keeping, as I'm having calls, and like one with Carly the other day and one with Lorenzo, I'm keeping my Sun Devil alumni behind me to be proud, but also as to remind me that everything that you all mentioned earlier about this gap to the goal, we have to do this collectively in all these various ways, because this is too great of a need. It's almost shameful, right? That we are not empowering our families to enable them to have this access to these wonderful educational programs in our community, in our state, and or across the country. So, so as Bank of America, our commitment is, how do we make financial lives better in both our community, our employees, and our clients? So I'm fortunate that in that space of 3, I'm part of a team, a local market team. I work with, we support our market president, who maybe many of you know, our state president, Benito Almanza, and then Scott Vanderpool, myself, Tricia Constas. We're real fortunate that we have a unique team that we could kind of hone in on our specialties. And again, at the end of the day, how are we serving our clients, our community, and our employees? And of course, we're a large enterprise, 200,000 plus. So some of the things I'm going to share are things that really I didn't create. They were a company listening to our employees, and they've created. But I think we're also learning things that I hope can provide some help to you. The first thing in our goal is I manage the foundation giving, and we are committed to ensuring, when we're looking at why do we invest in our community? We have been really focused on what we call economic mobility. How are we ensuring that individuals, families, in our communities all have a way to, improve their lives? And you look at a Harvard Chetney study in the last 20 years of, again, I was in valuation, but last 20-something years, people who have been living in low and moderate income communities in this Metro Phoenix, have not been able to have the economic growth. And we've seen so much growth in this Phoenix market with new jobs, new companies coming in, growth. When you compare that to other communities like in Austin, Denver, Seattle. So what's going on? Again, I kind of look myself in the mirror and say, what have I been doing? So we are really focused, and we have been for many years, in this economic mobility. We were kind of going jobs, hunger, housing. And we're really going deeper and saying, no, how do we ensure, and I take a quote that many of you may have heard from Dr. Crow at ASU, is how do we ensure that every youth growing up here, they are that pipeline of talent, and they have access to the new economy. These jobs that they say that are going to be created and through going through our universities and other post-secondary opportunities. We're asking, how is everyone able to improve and increase their individual GDP? So that's the end in mind when we're looking at who we're investing. So we're investing in these great programs such as Be a Leader Foundation, you know, a new pathway for youth. Some of these many of you know, but we're looking at how do we invest in these programs so that they are making changes. And then many of you may have known recently with our announcement of $1 billion in the 4 years across the enterprise. How do we go deeper? Let's, as I think Carlos said, you know, let's keep peeling back that onion and really look at those racial barriers that we have, because we know they are there. So we kicked off in the fall, 25 million across the country to invest in schools, historic Black universities, colleges and universities, Hispanic serving institutions, community college. So we were fortunate here. Now working closely with Lorenzo at ASU, we invested $1 million there, and into Pima Community College, because we want to say, how are those pathways? Again, you guys are in companies that are creating growth opportunities, these jobs that are above a living wage. How are we ensuring that the pipeline of youth that we currently have are able to go there? Our African-American, Black youth, and our Latino youth, as you all mentioned. So that's one of our first things. Our second thing we have is, how are we ensuring our volunteers are also out in the community? So we've been able to, again, programs like Be a Leader and others, 1 in 10, others that invite our employees into their doors and work with them. Now, of course, it's been virtually, but delivering financial education, and then also the FAFSA program. So the last few years when it's been in person, we've been able to have our volunteers join other companies, volunteers with the FAFSA program. And again, I encourage you all to do that. We also have employees that do the VITA tax credit program too. And some of them are similar because they're used to seeing tax forms. We're fortunate, again, we're a large company. We offer services to our employees themselves. We have a program through our benefits. So again, how are you investing into your employees with benefit programs? So we have, we work with, and I did not have this privilege to have this because it's kind of a new program. My daughters have already been out the door, but I encourage any companies who can do it, no matter your age group of your students, look into your employee benefit programs. Our program, I'm just trying to remember the name, it's with, in case some of you may also be working on it. Now I forgot it here we go. It's the Bright Horizons College Coach. It's, so an employee can have a free service to get coaching from this Bright Horizons program, or go to web classes so that they can have, you know, from their early to older, how do you look at the whole process of financing your college? And then we also, again, we're a bank, so we provide internally financial wellness webinars, and some of those do include FAFSA, that understanding what it is and what's its role, and then other ways that how you plan for your college, saving for college. So how do you empower? And I think what I really appreciate that we've done is, you know, anybody walking in the door to work at Bank of America, you're earning $20 living wage right now across the country. You know, you need at least that to have a safe, secure living environment. So, you know, how do we ensure other companies are doing that? So the benefit program for their employees. I know not all of you can do that, you know, but I'm just sharing some ideas. The last thing that I will touch on is, how can you see programs? And Marley, or I don't know if you want me to show, but I have a Better Money Habits website. I'm happy to share it unless you guys want it. I don't know if you have the link. How do we
have it, Maria? If you want to put it in the chat.
Okay.
That's great. Also, you can email it to us and we will forward it out to the group participating.
Can I share my screen?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right. It's probably easier. So this is a resource for you. Anybody can access this. This is Better Money Habits. Google Better Money Habits. We work directly with Khan Academy, and it is an educational tool to talk to anybody about, again, how do you make your financial lives better? But there is a section on college, and in there is a section on, you know, this is a reality. What's the cost of college? Start early, you know. It's not easy. And what is the give and take, and what are the sacrifices you need to make to do that? Or if you want to go back to college, you know, we're fortunate. We have programs that we support our employees going back. You know, 20 years ago, I went back to University of Phoenix because I was fortunate the company supported my tuition. Again, if you're in a company to do that, look at what the needs are of your employees. But we also have a little one pager. Let me see, I think I just lost it there. About what is FAFSA, so that you can just see, you know, a little give and take, you can work through it. And the nice thing is this is also, I can't get to it, let's see. This is available, if you can see, it's available in Spanish. You click the little corner and you will be able to, let me see if I can do that, because I want to show two things. Anybody can access these materials. So this is just a little, excuse me, one pager that you can show to have the initial discussion. The other thing we do is we provide these classes, which either our volunteer, we have Bank of America volunteers that can teach the class. Right now it is virtually, unfortunately, and we are doing that with various nonprofit partners. But if you wanted just to teach about better money habits, there is different programs. These are kind of cut and play. Anybody can access these, and we have specifically for college and for high school students. So talking about budgeting and savings, etc. So I share this as a resource for anybody can use, any company. The other thing is I would encourage your companies, talk to your CFO, whether you are, whomever you're working with a bank. I'm gonna stop sharing here. They all offer programs to have benefit programs for your employees. We call it financial life benefits for us. You may call it different things, employee banking, whatever it is, whatever company you are with, ask them if they have those resources that you could bring, you know, financial advisors or bankers, whomever it is, to credit unions, to come in and talk to your employees, because FAFSA is a key piece. But to be honest, if you have not had that discussion, it's almost too late. So, you know, prior 10 years ago, you know, how do you start saving? How do you work on budget? And then how do you talk to the student, your own students, high school students, about budgeting? So I'll share that. So that's kind of everything we provide. Other couple things, and I've been fortunate the last 2 years working with Be a Leader senior boot camp program, and seeing these seniors who are just awesome, that are part of this program to go into get ready for college. And you know, as you all remember yourself, or doing it for a niece, nephew, son, or daughter, this is very, very intimidating. It's tough. But if you can have your employees go volunteer to be a coach with Be a Leader or any other program, they can help and just provide that confidence and guidance. It does really help. You know, things are changing. FAFSA, do you do an SAT? Do you not? What does this all mean? But at the end of the day, how do we encourage and build confidence for these high school students, for everyone, and then for your employees? Are you also allowing your employees time to have this conversation or to do this work? When I first started, I think I remember we were working, my daughter and I, almost every night, you know, scholarships, applications, etc. It's not easy, but do your employees have time to do this? Do they have time in their work schedule? Are you allowing them time? Are you giving them resources? So this is, you know, there's a lot going on, balancing work life. But I would just encourage you all, are you giving your employees time to have that conversations with a lot of the tools that that booklet, that presentation you shared gives a lot of great ideas. We can only do certain things. We're a large company, but we also have a compliance. So the last thing I will say is do what you can, and then what you can't, look it around. There's tons of best practices, tons of resources. And if you have the funding, support those organizations like those ones here that are doing this work collectively, because I don't think we have, we can't do it anymore. There's too much instability. We need to move forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. I really appreciate it. And I won't forget your last name because I love the name association, the word association with Etch and Sketch. And it reminded me of my youth and what I played with. So thank you for that.
Well, that's what my husband told me the first time I met him. So, you know, it's otherwise it's Trujillo Maiden, and you could go with the other one.
Thank you so much. Tina chatted in the chat pod that the Gift of College is a great resource to offer to your team as well. A 529 college savings program that can link to your payroll system. So I just wanted to make sure people saw that in the chat pod, if you didn't. Maria, Tina, and Maggie, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your stories. You've invested a lot of time and energy to make it a success, and it's obviously making a difference and an impact in Arizona and with your own organizations. I wanted to throw it out to the group. Does anybody have any questions from what they've heard today from Maggie, Maria, or Tina, even Carla or Dave or Lorenzo? If you have any questions for any of the group, feel free to ask. We've got a quiet group today. Tina,
Sure.
Maggie, or Maria, any parting comments or thoughts that you might have after today?
Marley, I have a quick question. It's Sharika.
Yes, Shrika.
I was just curious because for Bank of America, because it is a huge company. Do you guys track that or keeping track as an organization of your employees' participation in this type of thing, or do you guys just track their volunteer work in general?
We track volunteer work. We track our overall cumulative. I couldn't tell you what it is as far as employee giving, because if an employee gives to a direct nonprofit one-to-one, they can do a one-to-one match. The program itself that I was referring to, that is a resource through our benefits program. I do not know that answer. That's HR. That's kind of a whole different area globally. I would need to find out, but I'm sure they track some way. I know we track participation in our general, what internal webinars, but I don't have any other information beyond that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. Just a nosy question. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Sharika.
Kind of along that line, Sharika, one of the things that we do at Duncan Family Farms is we place this benefit, the DFF Youth Program, as one of the benefits in open enrollment. So employees can select that as an open enrollment benefit, and then that notifies us that they're interested, and then we forward that information to Esma, and she reaches out to them. So it works really well for us, and it's a good tracking method as well.
Thank you, Tina. Any other questions?
I would just add listening to your employees to be part of the solution if you have not created it yet. So I'm curious, Tina and Esme, is that you contracting, how did you come to that? But I think that's important, and let them be, let your employees help create the, whatever the program is.
Yes, I would agree. I think that really does make a huge difference in participation as well.
Building that trust, I feel like when we're working with the employees and we get the opportunity to do it one-on-one, then it opens up the door, so not only, how we build a rapport with them when we show up for them, then they say like, okay, I trust you, you may work with the rest of my family, and it's really rewarding to do that.
Thanks, Esma. Thanks, Tina, Maria, Maggie. We're almost at the top of the hour. I'm going to turn it over to Dave for any closing remarks and thank yous.
Thank you, Marley, Carla, Lorenzo, for leading this team and all the great work with the FAFSA Playbook. If you haven't seen the FAFSA Court Playbook, we'll send it around. Feel free in all of your business circles to nudge friends and say, hey, have you taken a look at this thing? Appreciate all the testimonials. Again, I think the activity we centered on was peer-to-peer, company to company, You don't have to do everything, but do something.
Mhm.
And the more we can get involved in that is huge. So if you guys ever need us to present, lean on somebody, talk with somebody, grab virtual coffee or whatever, please let us know. Marley, Lorenzo, and Carla are always willing to help and talk about this. So let us know. Keep us in the loop on any kind of even hint of something that might come up. Kylie, I know you're there, I think, too, with GPL. I appreciate all of your help sending this around to your membership. And if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Thanks, everybody.
And then really quick, Dave, I think some
Yes.
people are asking how to get a copy of the playbook. I think that'll be emailed out to everyone who participated and or registered for today's webinar.
Yes, stay tuned for an email from Bailey. You'll get, I think, even a recording of this as well. It'll go out to everybody who registered, and we'll send out the playbook as well. All right, well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.